And Shalom, Lord Christ. It's like, yeah, give me 1 second. Just getting this link for this class. Make sure we on YouTube. We're going to get right to it. Any questions you may have, type them in the chat. Any questions you got, type them in the chat. Lord allow, we'll be able to get to them. Again, any questions you have, just type them in the chat. All right, Shalom, Lord Christ. Priest and officer of 1,000 bars, all recall. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, starting out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. And today is the Biblical Law Class, Wednesday Law Class. We've been teaching the truth since 1969 that Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Jews, ethnic Jews, original Jews according to the Bible. We are not affiliated with no other Hebrew Israelite camp. No other doctrines, no teachers, no religion has the authority to teach the Bible. Anybody, says otherwise, challenge them with the might of the Lord to prove what they know. Today, again, what we go through is a law class. Law class is pertaining to the people of the Bible. Who are the people of the Bible? We know today as, Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, man and woman, child, historically or originated through the Bible. So Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans make up the people of the Bible. Makes up the people who God refers to or ordained the word to, these teachings, these customs to, from the Bible. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you type them in. And Lord allow, we get to them. And let's dive in it. Today, we're trying to figure out a lot of the reasons on why we are in the conditions we are today. Most of the time when we have questions about the Bible, people automatically think that the Bible has some type of spookism to it. Firstly, they, is associated to Christianity. The Bible is automatically associated to Christianity because of the religion that these preachers and these politicians have been practicing, to contain and keep a society, lost, should I say. You know what I'm saying? Pushing forward the agenda, that the oppressor is a man who is going to, or who is a help for people who are in poverty and these ghettos and these strenuous situations. Christianity teaches that the Bible is the world's solution. That is false. It doesn't have anything to actually do with the whole world, the whole earth. No, it doesn't have anything to do with your preacher. It doesn't have anything to do with, your deacon. It doesn't have anything to do with your reverend. Everything that Christianity teaches is what's distancing the people in this Bible away from the Most High God. Again, these laws, statutes, and commandments are only given to a certain class of people. The first class people of this Bible, who are the Jews, the Israelites. The Israelites are who this note and who this information is for. Again, politicians and religious leaders, take the idea of what the Lord created for people and bastardize it, destroyed it, took away its true meaning. How do we know that Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are of the Bible? of our, the promises that the Lord gave us. How do we know that? Because again, we proved through archaeological facts, history, and documents that the people that were in this Bible who God spoke with and dealt with were Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We get straight into it. Small things of like not knowing the land that we dealt in, or the land that we dwell in today, America, was a prophecy in the Bible. Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, stretching from the northern and the southern Americas, it was said as a prophecy that was going to happen. No other documentation, no other literature says that. No other form of education will let you know or will give you an insight of a predestined situation. Nowhere have I ever read that Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans were going, listen to the key words, going to be sent away from a land that was once theirs. We go to the book of Deuteronomy. It's the real beginning of the Bible. It's the beginning of, our narratives and our literature. Again, the Bible is a Black man's book. Don't let anybody tell you no different. It's Black history. We don't just celebrate. We don't celebrate Black history in February. We celebrate every day here in the Isupk. Going over who these people, these fantastic people were, these men of God, these women of God, these children of God were. There's all great stories in here in the Bible. And these stories are, surrounded by Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. What I mean first, before I get into Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy 28 chapter, you get your time and take your time to get there. But before I get into that, when I say Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, most people, we are separated ourselves by colorism and language. A lot of that stuff is get confused because in ISBK, where I learned that all skinfolk is not kinfolk. What do I mean by that? Just because you're brown don't mean you're related. All those philosophies of thinking just because you have melanin, you're related to Black people. That is idiotic to think, because everybody has a sense of color. You understand? Everybody has a sense of color, whether they're white, whether they're brown, whether they're tan, everybody has a sense of color, So when I say Black, Latino, Native Americans, I'm talking about a specific people. We talk about a specific people. Today, the so-called Negroes are in the Bible. The so-called Negroes have an identity that can be traced back in the Bible. The so-called Latinos have an identity that can be traced back into the Bible. And thus forth with the Native Americans have an identity that can be traced into the Bible. We separated ourselves, not ourselves per se, but we classify ourselves as a nation divided by tribes. But when these tribes come together is what makes one nation. But moving forward to in Deuteronomy 28, it tells us that a people will be sent somewhere, and nobody else has this history for what we about to read right now about where these people were sent and how they were sent and what was the cause of it. We'll get into it today. And reason why is because we have to know who this law pertains to. God law does not pertain to everybody. That's what the Christian teaches. That's what the pastor teaches. God law is not for everybody because God wasn't for everybody. And we'll prove that too as well. Book of Deuteronomy 28. And let's go to verse 1, right? Yeah, Con.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou hearken diligently to the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now, a Christian would just read that and just say, hey, that applies to everybody. You know, that's not how to actually read the Bible. We don't read it as a bedtime story. A Christian will read straight through every verse, every chapter, and say, hey, I get it. I understand. That is not how the Bible is orchestrated. That is not how the Bible is depicted. That is not spirituality that this Bible dwells in. You know, it says to be able to prove, you know, like the Bible proves itself. What do I mean by that? It's able to back itself up. This Bible is undefeated. You understand? The Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans have a source that is undefeated in this world that can prove itself. You know, that's spirituality in itself right there. You know, again, but this Christian pastor will read straight through that and not break it down, not tell you who it's pertaining to. You know, reading that, you would think, hey, you know, that sounds good. It's the word of the Lord, which, you know, is amazing. Yeah. But there is a division right here, just in what we read. You know, a Christian would say, hey, that belongs to everybody. But in what Officer Nicard just read was a division. And if you were paying attention, you know, having the ear to hear and not just listen, but being able to get what it's actually saying, only here in the ISUPK would you be able to understand what that verse is actually saying. A Christian pastor will read it and read to the next verse. You know what I'm saying? Do a little stomp, slap the knee, whatever the case, hallelujah, blah, 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 and won't tell you at all who is that pertaining to. So again, we'll read it again. We're going to break it down. And only in the ISUPK are you authorized to teach the Bible, you understand, unless you were anointed by a priest, you know what I'm saying, like how Aaron was, you understand. Unless you were anointed to teach under Commander General Yohana, you don't have the authority to teach the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Your Christian pastor would never be able to break this verse down. But we're going to show you here today in the ISUPK how education is supposed to be taught. So you can read it again, Officer Nicard.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, and thou shalt hearken diligently.
All right. Now, it said, if it shall come to pass, what does that mean? If it shall come to pass, that's speaking in future tense. You understand? If anything shall come to pass, how do we say that today? Hey, man, if, you know, hopefully, man, God willing, you know, that's how we say in here, Lord willing, you understand? But it says, if it shall come to pass, somebody may say, hey, man, if everything go right, you understand? If anything go right, if I can wake up tomorrow, you know, that's how it is. It's talking in the future tense. So even here in the book of Deuteronomy, we know that this right in this specific chapter, we at the 28th verse, we know that this is a foresee. We know this is something that's supposed to happen. You understand? Go ahead.
Hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God Yahweh, to observe and to do all his commandments. Now, what's hearken diligently means to listen. It means to pay attention. It means to give all your attention to what's about to be said. If we hearken diligently, if we actually pay attention to the voice of the Lord thy God, I mean, a Christian don't hear the voice of God. A Christian would say that, you know, his voice is the voice of God. A Christian would say, you know, they would speak in the holy tongues and tell you that this is the language of the Lord. You know, Christians don't listen to the Most High God. You understand? People don't listen to the Most High God, can't understand and won't be able to take the time to actually be able to decipher when the Lord is actually talking. You understand? So the Lord said, if we listen, if we hearken diligently, if we really pay attention to what's being said right now from the Most High God. Read on. And observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord Yahweh will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
See, the Lord said, we got to pay attention. Pay attention because what he about to tell us. What is the Lord about to tell us? What is it that you think the Lord wants us to know? What is Moses saying? Because again, this is Moses, who was a priest, who was a prophet. You understand? Moses led the nation of Israel out of captivity, man. You understand? The Lord was already dealing with Moses. The Lord wasn't dealing with everybody. The Lord was dealing with one specific man, like he's always done. Right now, it's Commander General Yohana, but the Lord is dealing with one specific man to give order. You understand? To give his message. Right now, what he say? We're gonna give the commandments. The Lord is about to tell Moses what the people should do. And who are those people? Those people are the Israelites. You understand? Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Those people are the Jews according to the Bible, the real authentic Jews according to the Bible. The Hebrews, people say Hebrew, but Hebrew is just a language. You understand? Those people that spoke that language, they was classified as Israelites in the Bible. We had our own customs. We spoke Hebrew, and that was our custom. That was our culture. That was the Lord's language. Shout out to Officer Morale, teaches a hardcore class every Friday. You understand? Learning, being able to teach brothers throughout the world the Lashawan Kodash, which is the holy tongue, man. You understand? Ancient Hebrew, being able to speak our original language. And even in that context of speaking Hebrew, at one time, this whole world spoke one language. That's in every literature. You understand? That comes from the Bible. But every literature will say that the world spoke one language. Why do you think that? How could the world have spoke one language entirely and then people not believe in the Most High God or not believe in the Bible? In the Bible, it tells us again that we have commandments to follow. We have a culture. The Lord trying to tell us what to do. All right. When you have rules, you go to your job, you go to your slave. We call them slaves here in Isupk. When you go to your job, you have a set of rules that you follow that will separate you from your manager, from your employee to your whatever, however your chambers work or however your order works. You have a specific order for you to follow, for you to have your job, and for you to be recognized as whatever it is that you do. Whether if you're pushing carts or whether you at Washington, D.C., whatever whatever job you may have, you have a intel responsibility. The Lord is about to tell us our intel, our responsibility, because we're dwelling in a land right now where we just left a people who were slaving us. You understand? We're gonna get more into that too. But we just left a place who was slaving us. Moses is the one, through the hand of the Most Highs, who freed us out of slavery. You understand? So the Lord is already working with Moses, and he's about to give us the law. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And all of these blessings shall come on thee.
Hold on, real quick. The car, you want to go off to at the end of to do all his commandments.
Oh, okay. That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations on the earth.
See, now why the Lord said he was going to give us these commandments, like literally what I just explained was so why he can separate us, so he can see the class of these people, like the class of these people that the Lord is trying to deal with. He's trying to set them high. He's trying to give them a great position. He's trying to give them the top position. He's trying to give them the dominion. You understand? The set upon high. This is what the Lord said. He want to set us upon high above all nations. When we read to the end of the verse, the Lord said he's going to put us high above all nations. Now, a Christian would tell you this, right? A Christian would tell you Adam and Eve was the first people here. A Christian would say Adam and Eve was the only two people on earth. The idiot, I don't want to say idiot. The man who teaches that A man who teaches lies never knew truth. A man who teaches lies never knew truth. Christianity are teaching lies so they won't understand the truth. They say Adam and Eve were the only two people here on earth, and in the book of Genesis, it does not say that. You know, only here in the Isupk would you find out that Adam and Eve was the only ones chosen from the Most High God, you know, out of all the people on earth. To be able to understand that, you would have to understand, okay, the context of what it is we teach. Again, we don't just read the Bible in the Isupk like it's a bedtime story, because again, in order to understand this, first it has to pertain to you. Who's it have to pertain to? Be in the class, Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Spiritually, this book is our history, our records, you know, our forefathers, you know, our family, our bloodline, our culture. So Christians would say, yeah, Adam and Eve were the only people here on earth, and say, you know, there were no other people here. There weren't nations here. You know what I'm saying? There weren't people here. There weren't the people here. No, Adam, like the Lord did the same thing with Adam and wanted him to have dominion over the earth. He set him on high. You know what I'm saying? The Lord set Adam on high. Matter of fact, let's get that whole that right. We're gonna go to Genesis, so we can see where the Lord gave Adam dominion over the earth. Right? Because again, remember, all these people are in the Bible. They are related. We're related through generations and generations. We're related. You understand? So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to Genesis. You see where the Lord created the earth, the heavens and the earth, right? We're gonna go to Genesis. Let's see. Let's go to Genesis 2 and 18. 2 and 18. Matter of fact, let's go to 2. Let's just start at verse. Let's just start at chapter 2. We have issues. It's cool. It's too wild. As long as we still rolling with teaching, man, that's all it is. All right. We just having difficulty. Just bear with us. We just trying to make sure everything is good with the network. I know Facebook be jamming up sometimes. Damn, man, this chapter 2 is this shit is good.
So Genesis chapter 2.
Yeah, let's go to chapter 2 and let's go to verse 7.
It's the book of Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. Mm-hmm. The Lord, Yahweh, formed man of the dust of the ground.
Say the Lord formed man of the dust of the ground. You know what I'm saying? We say man, we're talking about Adam. You know what I'm saying? When we say the dust, I know a Christian would say, hey, they rose Adam up from the dirt. You know, he formed them from a pile of dirt, the dust of the ground. Dust. Let's just, now we're going to show you how, you know, again, the difference between religion and culture. Religion forces you to believe something. A culture, you spiritually understand what's actually going on, because why? It's meant for you to understand. You understand? Spiritually, it'll make sense. You know, when Black people have a certain kind of spirit that the so-called oppressor doesn't have. A black person has a different spirit from Chinese people. We have different spirits. We all may speak the same language, but hey, these Chinese people, they a little funny. Hey, these little these East Indians, they a little funny. It might be they don't have the same spirit. You understand? Where we are dwell amongst our people, you don't really have to explain too much, because why? It's like going like it don't have to be said that we understand each other because we are connected at one. You know what I'm saying? The Lord rose up Adam from the dust. What do we say? What does it mean when you say a dust? It means a low state. A dust settles, dust sits on things. You understand? The Lord rose Adam up. He rose him up from a low state, because even in the times of Adam, there wasn't any law. There wasn't no law. You understand? There wasn't, a culture. So, you have a world of people who just doing what they want to do. You understand? But the Lord is about to make a clear distinction and choose Adam to actually give him some law. This is the same thing what we read in Deuteronomy 28, that the Lord was giving Moses a law because at a certain point in time, we was doing whatever we wanted to do. The Lord is a man of order. You understand? Decency and order is what the Lord is all about. It's not about us doing our own will. Today people would say free will. You understand? There ain't no such thing as free will. There ain't no such thing of making what they call it, YOLO. There's no such thing of that at all. You serve the Most High, or that's you don't. That's it. There ain't no in between. But the Lord is making again, giving us again the same stance that what He gave Moses. The Lord is raising them up so He can be able to have dominion on the earth, so He can get a law. You understand? To have dominion means you have authority. Here in Isupk, you have men who have authority over certain chapters, and I'm gonna say chapters, but certain offices. You understand? You have a man who's maybe in charge of the let's just say you have a man who's in charge of maintenance. You have a man who's in charge of film. In the Isupk, you can look it up, type it in and watch, see what happens. On the internet. We have men who actually are in charge of those fields. You understand? Like a job. You have to have people who are in certain offices to make things work. That's why decency and order is so important to the Most High. You understand? A ranking system. You understand? So read on. Why I keep calling you Ibaz in the car? It's like, go ahead, officer in the car. You read on.
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
See, bro, breathing into his nostrils. What did he breathe in? The breath of life. Now, a Christian would say this: the Lord blew His breath into a man's nose, and that man became alive. Okay. To a child, that sounds like it sounds like a fairy tale. You understand? It sounds like an imagination, right? But again, the black people don't speak. We speak in such of a spiritual way, knowingly and unknowingly sometimes, that we don't even understand that this book is actually speaking the same language that we speak. He said He gave the breath of life into his nostrils, and Adam got the breath of life. So like he got the breath of life. No, what it was is the Lord gave him a spirit. You know what I'm saying? What is air? Without your air, you don't breathe. You understand? Without our bodies functioning, the proper way, it'll give you you might have some alts or something. What is the breath of life? That means you're coming alive. You know what I'm saying? So what the Lord was saying, yeah, without the Lord giving Adam his spirit, he was spiritually dead. You understand? But when He gave him that breath of life, he came to life. You understand? He took this man from a low state. He took this man from the projects. He took this man from the ghettos. He took him from the barrios, the reservation. He took him from a place where no man probably even thought that he ever had a chance of being something great. You know what I'm saying? The Lord deals with the meek. The Lord don't deal with those people that's on high. The Lord deals with the humble. You understand? The Lord is in the corners of those people, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans who fight life every day. You understand? You're going to work every day. You trying to figure out life every day. The Lord dwells with those people. The Lord prefers those people. In America, you know, with success in America today, having money, living the American dream, you know, when it's really blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans' nightmare. You understand? It's not a place that we dwell in, and it said that this place will never be our rest. So to go through things here in America is spiritual. When we feel like we don't have an outlet to what's actually, you know, going on, and feel like, you know, the heart is heavy and shoulders is barren, that's because, you know, the Lord is serious. The Lord is for real. The Lord exists. You understand? And that's the people that the Lord prefers. It's the people who sit at the low state, the people who settle like dust, the people who just low. You understand? Who else is low here in America? Ain't nobody lower than blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. To believe that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans have an equal opportunity as every other nation here on this earth is delusional. You understand? That's what you call selfishness. You know, just if my brother is suffering, then I'm suffering. You understand? If my sister is suffering, then I'm suffering. You understand? People who think that living life is supposed to be, you know, what gives you pleasure, and think that that is the key to living, they would never understand this scripture right here. You understand? To know that coming from a low state, the only way you can get life is if the Lord deal with you, is to be able to understand who these people are. You understand? Read on.
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living soul.
So he became a living soul, man. He was dead before that. He was dead. Adam felt like the world was over. Adam felt like it wasn't nothing else to get. Usually people only turn to God when things get real, when shit gets real. Slacky for my language. But that's the only time when people turn to God. You understand? But that doesn't mean God gonna turn his face on you. That don't mean he's gonna turn his back. Maybe the Lord is trying to get your attention. Maybe the Lord is trying to preserve you for something. Maybe the Lord is trying to set you on high. You understand? We go to camp all the time, and you know what don't make sense to me is people, when I say camp, we go to camp, we go and teach. You know what I'm saying? We go prophesy these same words to blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans all throughout the world. You can check Isupk out online and see the results. You know, Most High in Christ for that. But we go out to the world and teach the same thing, that the Lord wants you to be on high. You know how many times I've seen personally that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, men and women, do not want to hear that. They say, "Hey, what about those people? What about? No, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. Y'all ain't. Nah, y'all racist." That's they like to call us racist. How the hell we racist when we love our people? That makes us racist because we prefer our people. And you know what? The sad thing is we hear that from our people because they don't have an identity and they don't understand what it is that the Lord is trying to give them. You understand? America paints the picture that we live in great here. You know, we at a low state. We getting crumbs. They give us crumbs all day, man. Understand? They give us crumbs. They're giving us a crumb, and we think that we can feed our family with that. I don't mean that literally. I'm talking about the things that we accept, the things that they give to us that we accept to make us forget what it is that we've been through, that our ancestors been through. You understand? They want us to forget these things. They want us to forget that we're supposed to be set on high. So they get us things to keep us docile. They fulfill our desires, and those desires don't mean shit when they don't have nothing to do with the Most High. You understand? That's when life get real. When the Lord trying to talk to you, it'll get real. You understand? Read on read on the card. It's like,
Verse 8.
yeah.
The Lord, thy God, planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed.
See, so he put him in position. That's the Lord. Right after he got his attention, he put him right in position. You understand? When it's time to actually fulfill your purpose, the Lord gonna put you where you need to be. And there ain't gonna be no question. Oh, I'm figure this out by myself. No, the Lord will put you where you need to be. You understand? But just know, when the Lord dealing with you, it's gonna come with it. It's gonna come with some tests. It's gonna come with some dignity. You're gonna have to go through things. You understand? We all know what trial and error is. We like to think because we may suffer from, work, things like that, a low finance income. We like to think that that's a challenge. The Lord that we serve, that the men and women served in this Bible, he'll have you, you say you serve me. Look, let's see how much you want to serve me. Let's see how much you want to be put on high. Let's see how much you actually say you actually care. You actually love me. You know what I'm saying? The Lord will make you put yourself last if you love him, but he'll put you first if you love him. You know what I'm saying? And we'll read all through the Bible on what happens when we put our faith in the Lord first, but he's still gonna try us. You know what I'm saying? So he put Adam in a position. Boom. Now Adam, he raised him up from the dust, got him out of the trenches, got him out of the bad situation. You understand? Put life into him. Adam looking like a new man. He walking like a new man. You understand? It got a different countenance to him. Now the Lord put him in position. Boom. Read on.
And out of the ground made the Lord thy God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So
what he did, he showed Adam, like, again, the trees. This trees in this context is talking about the growth of teachings, the philosophies. You understand? The Lord is showing Adam, now that he got him, put him in the position, now he about to teach him. He about to show him. He about to show, listen, this is the tree of life. Understand? This is what you want to deal with. This is what you don't deal with. He's giving Adam law. That right there is enough. You understand? When the Lord is telling you what to do, the Lord is giving you directions on what to do and what not to do, that is considered law. That's it. You understand? There ain't no in between. There ain't no trying to figure it out and do try to manipulate the law. That's what America does. America manipulated God's law. America would say, as Christians, you understand, America would say, hey, you can have interracial marriages. America would say, hey, man, everybody can be saved. Christianity teaches this. America says this, that everybody is going to heaven when they die. That don't make no goddamn sense. So I guess when we die, we're gonna go to heaven with the pedophiles. We're gonna go to heaven with the rapists. We're gonna go to heaven with the drug. Everybody who's a pedophile, rapist, drug dealer, all that, they all went to heaven. You understand? They all went to heaven. Everybody's in heaven right now. You know what I'm saying? Right with Tupac and Biggie. You know what I'm saying? This is what Christianity is teaching us. They're teaching us that we don't have no consequence for what it is that we do. But the Lord gives us a consequence. He gives us law first, but then he gives us the consequences when we don't follow the law. Like America. You run a red light, what's gonna happen? That's a ticket, man. Right. You don't pay your rent, what is that? You get an eviction notice. Understand? You don't follow the laws of the land, you will be in prison. You understand? And set and made an example of somebody who does not follow the law. It's the same thing here in the Bible. But the only thing is, the law did not pertain to everybody. Out of all the people, the Lord rose up Adam, one man. He said, look, this is what you about to do. If you pay attention to this, don't pay attention to that. Do what I'm telling you to do. We're going to be cool. Read on.
And the river went out of Eden to the Salakia. And a river went out of Eden to the water, the garden.
So again, this, reading forward, this is again the Lord giving Adam the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Showing him what it is that he's supposed to do. Basically walking him through it. You know how when we get you get an interview for a job, you know, they give you the walkthrough. They walk you through the building. Oh, okay, you this. All right, you got knowledge in this. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Well, I'm gonna show you around. I'm gonna show you what it is that we do here. Because what you done prior don't mean nothing here once you start working for me. What you've been doing don't mean nothing once you start working for me. You know what I'm saying? This is the same conversation the Lord is having with Adam. This is give him his role, letting him know, look, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. I'm gonna show you what areas belongs to you. I'm gonna show you what don't belong to you. This is what he's doing, man. You know what I'm saying? But skip down to verse 17 for time's sake.
17. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof shalt thou surely die. Listen,
the Lord was giving Adam and said, yo, listen, I'm showing you everything, but now it's time to show you what you don't do. You know what I'm saying? Think of the Most High is not the Most High is not our friend. You know what I'm saying? He's not your friend. He's not your companion. He's not your boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is our Father. And just like a father, there will be penalties for when things are not going the right way. You know what I'm saying? And just like a father, you know, the Lord have mercy on us. But at the same time, you know, as a father, when you tell your children, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. If I'm telling you this is what you're supposed to do, and this is how you should go about it, and then I'll tell you what is the consequences when you don't do it, then the penalty is what? What is the penalty? What should it be? What should a righteous father do? What is it? What does a good father do? A good father. Not a okay father. What does a good father do? Not a happy husband. What does a good father do? A father gonna put fire to your ass when you don't do what the hell he tell you to do. You understand? Simple. And that's how we know that this is a black book. Because, you know, ain't nobody putting belt to their kids' ass, like, you know, and I'm saying for all the right reasons, you understand? I'm not saying for, you know, abusing. I'm just saying as a black man, you know, growing up in a black household, my father, you know, there was penalties behind certain things. There was things, that's what made a good father, is to be able to correct your children when necessary. That's how the Lord deals with blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. He don't deal with us how the Christian pastor teaches us. Oh, that's your pet pal. You know what I'm saying? You know, God forgive you. No, that's not how it works. The Lord is a black man. The Lord is a black man. Ain't nothing else on this earth, you know, outside of, you know, our king, who's also a black man, will have, you know, the proper approach when it comes to actually giving order. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's better than the black man? You know, I'm talking about, when I say black, I'm talking about Latinos and Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? The Lord has given us law, man. The Lord has given us laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Statutes and commandments, man. That's what the Lord has given us. This is what he always gave us, man. And he gave Adam that. He said, hey, moving, when you read down on your own time, because I want to get back to Deuteronomy 28th chapter. He said, hey, I'm going to give you the dominion of this world. He said, hey, you go ahead and name the animals. That's a responsibility. You know, that's a responsibility. Lord, you said, Adam, go name the animals. You know, go start the language. Go start the language. Go ahead and establish yourself. That's what the Lord is doing. Go establish my word. Go do what I'm telling you to do, because it's best for you. And again, reading on throughout the chapter, you can realize what Adam had there. Adam had eventually slipped up, you know, listening outside of the Lord's law, listening to outside of the teachings and philosophies he took from that tree of, you know, death. That's what the Lord told him not to do. And like I said, you read that on your own time. Let's go swing back to Deuteronomy 28 chapter. We was on verse 2, 27 and 2. 28 and 2. Throw out, please.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 2.
Yeah.
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now, what it said, what we said hearken was earlier, we said hearken was when you're actually paying attention. Hey, what's going to happen if you actually listening? What's going to happen if you actually pay attention? The Lord said he's going to bless you. The Lord said he's going to watch over you. He's going to take care of you. He will provide for you when it's times in the dark. But you got to listen. You got to listen. Your job ain't going to pay you if you ain't doing the job. You expecting the check. You don't do the job, but you expecting the check. That's not how the world works, man. Understand? The Lord said, hey, you listening to me hard. You listening to me, hearkening to what I'm saying, really paying attention to what I'm saying to you. I'm going to take care of you. You know, you're going to be cool. But what is the cost of it? We're going to find out. Read on. Please.
So, like, even when you read the Bible and just how the Most High sets up everything, like you've been saying, you know, the Most High set you up to put you in a position. When you dealing with something like, right, the Lord give you solutions. He give you the bigger picture to understand.
Right.
You know, that's like he said, like, yo, I provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I make a way for you. I always give you a way out. And understanding the Most High and understanding just how important it is.
They can't hear you? You want to take the mic? We got a mic, right? Just speak up, bro. Just speak up.
So when it comes down to the Bible, it gives us the solution that we need to succeed in life. And just understanding the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, you get to understand the balance that weighs in on your decision making. Mm-hmm. So, like you going into the curses, you will see where the Most High is telling you, if you disobey me, this is what's going to happen. It makes you look at the laws, the statutes, and the judgments and commandments, and you start to really study them and understand the ins and outs of them, to the point where you start to gain more understanding of life. You know, like you say, for instance, we know that we can't sell drugs, right? But the more you understand the law, the more you'll understand why we shouldn't sell drugs. Mm-hmm. Because now you're like, all right, well, damn, if I sell drugs, my young boys want to sell drugs too. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm going to destroy my community. I'm going to put people in harm's way. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I'm going to be a virus to my nation. So I feel like when people really want to get a real understanding of life, the beginning is just understanding what God is telling you to us.
No, exactly, in the car. And that's why it's so important, like with our job and what we do, because black people, we want a solution. Like we want to know what to do. We want to serve God. We just don't know how. You know, that's our main issue here in America. Is we want to know how to, we naturally, us being spiritual people, we want to know something, but society got us blinded to where, yeah, hey, let's go sell these drugs, man. Let's go damage the community, because we're not thinking about the actual damage. We just need money. Because what, here in America, it teaches you to live the American dream. And what is it? Filthy rich, you know, die, you know, rich, and whatever else they got going on in America, what they like to associate, you know, success with. But most people, us, we are hypnotized by religion. Religion is what scares people away from the Bible. And you know what the crazy part is? When they take the spookism out of it, they realize, hey, there's some real solutions in the Bible. It's some real solutions in this Bible. We not getting taught it the right way because the people who are actually teaching it. Matter of fact, let's get into where the people. Let's go to Ezekiel, right? 22nd chapter and 26th verse. The people who's actually teaching the law is manipulating it. The people who's actually teaching the righteous law is bending it for their benefit. They take the law of God and they shape it because why? Naturally, Black people know that there's something above. There's something in control. There's something controlling all this. It's just we don't know because our source is being fogged, is being dimmed by people who run the world. And those people that run the world don't want us to know what's actually going on in here in this Bible. They don't want us to know who this Bible pertains to. You put the meat and potatoes in it. They don't want us to know that Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are supposed to be set above all people, set above all nations, set upon high. But these religious leaders, they manipulated the word. You know what I'm saying? Officer in the car, if you got that precept, I got. You can read it now. No, not Deuteronomy, Ezekiel, 22nd chapter, 26th verse. Now, again, like the whole idea of the world bending God's law, again, is for their benefit because they'll say, hey, one nation under God. And I remember saying this stuff in school, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. I ain't never heard that when I left school. I ain't never heard nobody talking that kind of language. We all under God, this, that, and the third. We all under God, then explain the history. If we all were under God, because God, the Most High, been here since the beginning of time. So explain the history that was put on Blacks and Latinos and Native Americans. If we all under God, God witnessed that though, right? So if we all under God, then God witnessed exactly what it is that they put us through. And then people say, hey, man, y'all sound like y'all crying. Y'all sound like y'all want us to forget about the history. America don't want us to remember our history. You understand? That's how you control people. You make them feel less than. You make them forget. You make them, you separate them from who they are. You understand? And these religious leaders do that all the time. Read what you got, Nakar.
It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
A priest had violated my law and had profaned my holy things.
Mm-hmm.
They have put no difference between the holy and profane.
See, this is what's going on in the Christian church. They say, oh, you can eat pork as long as you pray over it. In the book of Leviticus, which is the law, the book of the law, it gives us a dietary law. Like Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're not supposed to eat certain things. But nobody's teaching us that. Nobody is telling us that. They tell us that when you want a healthy lifestyle. But by the time then, we 40, 50 something years old and, been drinking Coca-Cola all our life, eating chicken wings and French fries all our life. Now we're trying to figure out how to be healthy. But the Lord told us this. Matter of fact, and add the bacon that everybody love, right? That bacon and the pork and all that. 2025. I don't know why nobody in their right damn mind eating pork. You know what I'm saying? It's filthy. It's disgusting. Yeah, I hear people experimenting with food, and it's just like, who in the hell raised you? But leave it up to the world. They say, hey, man, you can eat whatever you can cook. That is disgusting. The Most High is not with that. But again, they're not separating us from the holy. You understand? They're not telling us the difference between the good and the bad in these Christian churches, man. Read on.
They have put no difference between the holy and the profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean. That's what we just talking about. What's clean and what's not clean. You know what I'm saying? We in the book of Leviticus, it gives us again the dietary law. What is it? It's clean food. It's a clean way of living. It's a clean way of being an example of yourself as a person. You understand? Like being unclean and
You know, being clean is hygienic. You understand? Like it gives us laws on when the things that we deal with on an everyday basis. If you was to know that, if we was to know that, hey, if I touch this, you know, I'm unclean. I'm unclean for the rest of the day. It'd be in our best interest to try to not touch it all day. Or better yet, don't even keep it around us. You understand? Anything that's unclean and we put it into our body, why would we expect for us to have a long life? The Lord said, listen, these things are clean, these things are unclean. You know, pork is unclean. Shrimp, crab, lobster, that's unclean. You understand? Why is it unclean? The obvious. These things are the things that dwell at the bottom of the ocean. They eat parasites, they eat feces. These things are the ocean's vacuum cleaner. They keep the ocean clean. So why eat these things? You know, and the Lord said not to eat these things. Levitical law. You go read in the book of Leviticus, chapter 11. You can find out what to eat and what to not eat. Again, this is what the Lord said: the clean and unclean. They ain't showing us what it is. They not letting us know, hey, this ain't right, and this is what's right. Read on.
God. And have hid their eyes from my Sabbath.
And they hid their eyes from the Sabbath. What is the Sabbath? The Sabbath is the day of rest, man. You understand? It's a high holy day. You understand? They hid their eyes. What they do? They hide themselves, man. Because why? America, you're gonna work. You're gonna work when it's time for you to go to sleep. You better not go to sleep. Matter of fact, you on your break? Oh, you taking too long. Hurry up. You know, America don't give us no rest. You understand? They turned their eyes on the day of rest. Read on.
I am profane among them.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27, our princes in the midst thereof are like wolves ravening the prey.
See, these people that rule over us are princes, the so-called leaders, right? They watching. They watching us. We the sheep. They the wolves. You know, you hear the saying sheep and wolves, wolves and sheep clothing. That's how these politicians deal with blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You understand? What they said, Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. What type of stuff is that to say? You won't even understand what it is to be black. To tell people that they're not black because they don't vote for you. They would never understand what it is to suffer in these times. You know what I'm saying? As a black man, as a black woman, Latino, Native American woman. You understand? Oh, but that's just a small crumb. That's a small crumb officer in the car. He didn't mean nothing by that. You know, that don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean nothing at all. You know, he's joking. Yeah, our problem as a people that we play too damn much, man. We don't know when it's time to be serious. You understand? Our culture should be taken serious. Our history should be taken serious. You understand? But these people right here, they hunting us. You know, they the wolves. We the sheep. We the Lord's sheep. And they hunting us. They sitting there waiting. They sitting there waiting watching from a distance, waiting for us to slip up, waiting for us to do something unclean. You know what I'm saying? Setting up a snare, setting up a trap to make sure that we're not in favor of the Lord, man. Read on.
Princes in the midst thereof are like wolves,
right,
ravening the prey,
to
shed blood and to destroy souls.
That's all they want to do. That's all America is doing. You understand? We talk about the Lord's people. We talk about the Lord's people. This is what they're doing in religion. This is what they're doing in Christianity. Let's just talk about Christianity specifically. This is what they're doing. Because they're the ones that have these books. You know, Islam don't have these books. Islam don't read from the Bible. I mean, they say they're supposed to, but that's dealing with a whole different God. That don't got nothing to do. That don't exist. You understand? But these so-called priests and these so-called pastors today, you understand, they're misleading the people. You know what I'm saying? They're hunting them. They can't wait for something to happen to them. I never thought when I was young like I never, and it flew past my head. I never knew that these pastors, you know, it's like, damn, why they always clean? Why they always got the money? Why they nice cars and all that stuff? You're a child, you ain't asking them questions. You know, they collecting this money, man. My grandma paid tithes all her life. You understand? And never got a dollar from the damn church, man. You know what I'm saying? This happens all over the world. Christianity is Satan's playhouse, man. You know what I'm saying? They'll say, hey, listen, man, hey, you can be whatever you want here. You know what I'm saying? You can be a drug dealer. Just make sure you drop off some of that drug money. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you pay a little bit to our deacon, man. He needed car payment. He trying to pay his Cadillac off by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? This is those leaders of those people, of those congregations. And why are we saying this? Oh, it's not like the religion itself, or Christianity, is so huge. It's so huge. It's not like we're just, you know, pointing at individual churches. All churches, the whole Christianity in the whole, is trash. It's garbage. They twisting up the laws of God. They're not telling us what's right and what's wrong. You understand? They hunting the people. They waiting for it. They setting up traps. This is what they doing. Why are they setting up traps? Because if I'm not teaching you what the Lord wants for you to know, then I'm putting you in harm's way. That's a trap. We got any more on that?
You want to go to the next verse?
Nah, we could drop that. We're going to say in the book of Deuteronomy, again, this is law class. Well, just as far as like, again, I'm Officer Barzar Carr under Commander General Yohana, man. Everything that's being taught here in this Bible, you know, and these ordained laws, we're supposed to follow them today. It's no different from when we was following them before to now. The Lord ain't change up nothing. You know what I'm saying? The Lord ain't switch up nothing. And it's a reason why we're in the position that we're in right now, because we didn't pay attention before. So now the Lord is trying to, again, right now, when we in the book of Deuteronomy, trying to tell Moses, hey, listen, I'm about to tell y'all what to do so y'all can be on high, so y'all can get right back in y'all rightful position. What is the rightful position for Blacks, Latinos, and Native American men, women, and child? Is to be on high. It's to be we're supposed to be the ones telling us what other nations to do. That's it. We can't make it seem like it's impossible, because there are a nation of people who tell other nations of people what to do here in America. They rule the world. So it's very possible. But those aren't the people that God chose. Go ahead to verse 2, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 2.
Right. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 2.
Mhm.
All these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, and thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
See, so the Lord was giving Moses the blueprint. Say, listen, man, if you listen, pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, and so you can tell your people. Because remember, Moses freed the Israelites. He freed the Jews out of slavery. So he's telling Moses, you'll listen to what I'm saying to you, so you can go ahead and tell these people. And what are you telling them? It's the word of the Lord. So the Lord is telling Moses to go tell these people exactly what it is I want for them to do, and do it, because why? The Lord is dealing with those people, and that's it. The Lord wasn't dealing with everybody when this happened. Everybody like say God is for everybody. No, the hell he's not. There's nowhere in the Bible where it say God loves everybody at all. And if you know, I $2,000 cash, if you can prove it to me, it'll be yours. You understand? Drop down to verse 28, 68. Slack it. Verse 68. So now what I'm about to show you again is prophecy. Prophecy is what is being able to foretell something, foresee, you understand, in the future. Moses was able to get the word from God, you know, the future of what's going to happen to us if we don't listen. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he's saying, hey, Moses is giving them the blueprint. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. Moses is going back and forth from the mountain to the ground. The ground is where we was at. The mountain, he would go to the Lord, deal with the Lord. The Lord would deal with him. He'll come back and he'll tell us what it is that the Lord wants for us to do. So in the midst of that, you know, we getting law from the Most High God through Moses. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
See, look. Oh my goodness, man. And this right here is what nobody can prove. This right here, you would not find anywhere on any book on this earth prophecy like this. And again, only here in the Isupk will be able to break it down, you know, the correct way, you know, and tell, you know, and be able to decipher and tell the people what it is still today, why the Lord, or why we in this position that we are in today. Here in 2025, we about to read right now what Moses said, where we going to be at today, right now. You understand? Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Hold on. So he said, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Nakar, just for purposes of the class, could you take it again from the top 68, Baba Kasha?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
See, the Lord said he gonna bring us into Egypt again with ships. That right there, it can't be breezed upon. Again, we're not the Christian church. We're not about to just read it to you and then, you know, slap our knee and say hallelujah, then pass the plate around. We ain't got no place in here to be passing around. You know what I'm saying? We is not the Christian church. The Lord said, it's like, and the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again with ships. Why did I put emphasis on the word again? Because Moses freed us out of Egypt. He freed us already. This is Moses leaving Egypt. We left Egypt. They had us in Egypt building pyramids and working rigorous times for beer and, you know, nothing at all. You know, we was in hell in Egypt. You understand? We fled into Egypt, you know, fleeing Roman persecution, you know, 70 AD, man. You know what I'm saying? We left the land that we were from because they were killing us. They were slaughtering us like they do here in America. You understand? But we left to go try to hide amongst other dark nations. You know, like I said, all skin folk, not kinfolk, man. You understand? We went to go hide amongst other colored people so we could try to throw them off. But those people that dwelt in that land, when you read the story about Pharaoh and the Egyptians, today they are the so-called Africans, the Hamites, the Africans today. You understand? They were the ones that were dwelling in Egypt. They ruled Egypt. It's like you take a runaway in your house, they're running away and they need a safe haven. You know, you got enough land to spare some land. You know, what you gonna do for this person? Hey, okay, I can shelter you, but this is what you're gonna have to do while you're here, while you occupying my land. That's what you're gonna have to do. That's what we did. We left a land, we left our land, you know what I'm saying, Israel, to go into Egypt. We walked into Egypt, we fled, we was running in haste, we trying to get away from people who murdering us. You know what I'm saying? So we get away from them. We in Egypt, when you look up the term Egypt, it means bondage or slavery. Egypt means bondage or slavery. You go look that up, all right? When we go into Egypt, we are in slaves. We become slaves to those people. We are in bondage. When we reading right now, it said, the Lord shall bring us into Egypt again. We already walked there one time. We walked there one time. So what are we talking about right here? He said again. What do you mean again? How are we going to Egypt again when we just left Egypt? Okay, we're gonna figure out again. Where is Egypt at? Where is this bondage? Where's this place of slavery at? You understand? Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Hold on, read it from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, what record or what history has anybody ever been transported by ships? And this is what I don't get in the car, right? This is what I don't understand. There's some uppity Negroes, there's some Uncle Tom niggas out here, right? Who don't really believe or don't really want to acknowledge the fact, or don't believe, let's just say that they don't believe that black people were transported here through slave ships. That's basically the answer. Black people were transported through slave ships. You understand? And this is the only place that you will ever find this, that black people were transported here by slave ships. No other people were ever transported by ships. This is right here telling us what happened. You know what I'm saying? It said, the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Where is the Egypt again? America. You look at America, man, America is slavery. I don't care what kind of job you think you got. You are a slave here in America. Your ancestors were slaves here in America. You understand? We was in bondage here in America, sold on auction blocks here in America, chains and yokes of iron on our neck here in America, man. You understand? Egypt is the place that we dwell here. This is Egypt. This is spiritually Egypt. America is spiritually Egypt. And that's the reason why. How do we know that? You can look at the dollar, man. If you got a dollar in your pocket, you turn it around, look at the back. It's the reason why they have those pyramids and, you know, what's that, Eye of Horus and all that nonsense on the back of a dollar, man, because you know why? America still follows the same customs of what Egypt followed. They still follow those same, they know that those people there that were dwelling us, we were there. They know that they have the same people here, and in order to keep us away from God, they have to follow the same way that they kept us in bondage there. The way that America keeps the Israelites away from God is that they make us follow everything else outside of God. Religion, philosophy, everything that's outside of this, let it be a curse upon you. Go ahead, Nakar.
Yeah, if I could.
Go ahead, please.
The second part is, it's always been in the records where nations will prey on us when we are at sin. And a nation that is our enemy, if they know that we're not serving our God, if we're not serving our God, they know that they got us because the Lord going to punish us. They know these curses. But when we serve the Most High, when we keep the commandments of God, when the leadership is just men and doing what the Most High asks of us, they become in fear. That's why they spend trillions of dollars to keep us in the cage. The reason why ICE agents is only going after blacks and Hispanic people. The ICE agents ain't going against the Chinese. The ICE agents ain't going against Arabs. They're not going after them. They coming strictly after black and brown people because we are God's chosen people.
Right.
And we are not desired.
Nah, man, I was expecting to hear some more, man, because listen, it's not even a no-brainer at this point. 2025. I mean, to not see that all this is by design, you gotta be one selfish person to not see that all these things that's going on are targeted to a specific people. I don't care. We don't care for anybody else's business. We all about black business in here. We all about black, Latino, Native American business in here. We don't look at what's happening to our Mexican brothers and sisters and say, "Oh, that's on them."
Right.
Nah, we don't do that. Why? Because we're taught and we know through history and through cultural practices and history proven that those people are the same people who we are. So again, separating like America separates us from each other. America separates blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. They have us thinking that we're not the same people. They don't want us to know that we the same people. You understand? So, get what Officer in the cars is brought out. ICE, they ain't got no picks. You know what I'm saying? They going for niggas too. They going for black people too.
Right.
You understand? They're not just targeting the Latino people. They're not just targeting, the Haitians. They're not just targeting the Jamaicans. They're not just targeting Guatemalans and Panamanians. They targeting these specific people because in order to keep us in control, they have to have a control sense of population. They want us to be away by the numbers. They want us to keep us docile. They don't want us to think about the Most High God. They don't want us to ever think that the Most High God is with us. They would have us think that the Most High is with America before they think that the Most High is for black people. We think about, America thinks about God. They think about America. They don't think about black Latinos and Native Americans. They would never allow it to think like that. But they allow the Asians, they allow the East Indians to have their God here in America, but they don't want us as blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to know that it's a God for them. We don't have we don't have a God. We don't have a culture. We don't have a language. Everybody else can come here and thrive, but blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we got to be the consumers. We got to fight to get a position here. You know what I'm saying? We damn near got to neglect our own people to be on top of society. Go ahead.
I was about to say that. We got to claw each other's eyes out. It's like that in the Dangles fight. You want to be successful in this world. You want to have a less burden on this plantation or in this world. You gotta go against your brother. I think that when you really read the Bible, you need to really understand just the battles and the issues that we used to have among the tribes,
Right?
Where we wouldn't see eye to eye, and we would have certain bad leaders that wouldn't be leading the tribes in the right direction. And that's why when you see all of the issues in the Bible, the tribes having issues, right? You will always see it would be the evil will come from the spirit of the world.
Right.
It wouldn't be the spirit of brotherhood. And this is why the Isupk is so heavy. When you see and hear is what Christ fought and died for. Christ fought so that brothers and sisters can finally love one another. By the time Christ came, the other tribes, the other part of our nation was overseas. Christ had to come and speak to us and show us how to love one another, how not to have somewhat puffed up pride because, I'm a Judah, I'm so big bad, I gotta put my tribe first. No, it's about loving all each other. And then here, man, we don't have those battles or those distinctions. That whole, I'm Hispanic, and I gotta, have this Hispanic pride to the point where it can destroy the brotherhood or this blackness. I gotta have this blackness.
Right.
You ain't the same skin color as me. We don't have that in here because what we understand is that Christ died so that we can understand the unity that Israel was supposed to always have.
Mm-hmm.
That's why here in Isupk, we go against the spirit of unbrotherly love and unsisterly love. We would kick you out of here if you want to spread that kind of virus. And we've seen so many people go. We seen so many people go because they thought they was bigger than the program, or they didn't have to, abide by these rules in here. But when you look in the Bible and you look at the story of David, where David was fighting between tribes and other nations, just to bring Israel back as one. You know what I mean? If you blacks, Hispanic, Native American, man, you better get in class, understand that this ain't no game. So wow.
Oh man, and I stand behind everything Officer in the car just said, man. You understand? I stand behind everything he said. We're gonna die living exactly what he said. Why? Because it's not about us. It's not about us. You know, we're not individualists here, and it's I just caught myself. It's messed up because again, America teaches us like we gotta be that way. The only way to, you know, strive and prosper, you got to be so much about yourself. You gotta not give a damn about nobody else because you so important. You gotta go to the top. You gotta ignore everybody. You understand? When you're by your goddamn self, you're ready to kill your damn self. You're not even comfortable with being a fuck alone. Salakia. You understand? That is Satan. The only way the Satan would get to somebody is if they fall weak, and then the Satan will isolate us and have us thinking that our thoughts, you know, are the only thoughts. And you know, no, got to be able to have some type of structure. Got to have some type of a sisterhood, a brotherhood, you know, so support. You know, we all going through this here in America, man. We all going through it at the same damn time, man. Ain't nobody struggle, you know, different at all, because how we all came here together. We all follow the same Lord. We fall under the same banner. So outside of these gates and these walls, outside of the ISUPK, I understand it's hard to have a sense or just to believe that, you know, there's no love amongst our people. Man, it's so much love amongst our people, you know, when we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments the right way. I ain't talking about no Christian church telling you to love your neighbor and your neighbor don't have no identity connected towards you at all. These Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that understand that who they are according to the Bible, being Israelites, right? Being Israelites, understand that, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, the Lord will get rid of us all. The Lord don't need us. We ain't special. We special unto the Lord. We ain't above the program. You can't forgive your brother. You can't forgive your sister. Who the hell you think you are? If the Lord can forgive us, who the hell do you think you are? You can't forgive the person who harmed you, the person who did you wrong, the person you have a disagreement with. No, stop being a goddamn child. Children have a problem with forgiving. You understand? As an adult, you understand? As an adult here in today's society, Black, Latinos, and Native Americans, we so caught up in how we feel that we willing, again, like what Officer in the car said, we'll step on our own. We'll step on our neighbor. We'll step on our blood to show the pain and the hurt. Why don't we just reverse that and show the pain that we hurt and serve the Most High? The solution to be fixed way quicker than we try to fix it our damn self. Go ahead, Officer in the car. You had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, like what you're saying, I just want to double down. To succeed in this world, you only want to get it through the Most High. You know, you don't want to be a person that you're searching for riches and you're trying to climb up the ladder in this world, but you don't have the Lord. You know, the Lord blessing them. You know, like Satan can reward you as well.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like it's so many. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. I know a lot of people want to get out the hood, right? I can understand why somebody would want to get out the hood. You want to protect yourself. You want to, you know, it's normal. Here's the thing: a lot of people they have their dreams and they sell their own people out. You know, and then they're moving in the suburbs, and then it's a cop pulling them over. Like, what the hell are you doing in this neighborhood, boy? What are you doing in this neighborhood, nigga?
Trying to escape.
Where are you coming from, nigga?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you still can't escape the curses. You know what I mean? It's best to always stand on your own 10, man, and always have the Lord on your mind and doing what the Most High say. Like, there's nothing wrong with trying to get some money, but don't allow the love of money to destroy your soul. We see so many people. Look at Kanye West. He's bowing down to a Jewish man so he can get some money. He already rich. He needs more money, sir. He needs more money. Kanye West needs more money. And they're gonna bend down and kiss the ring of a fake Jew for the love of money.
For the love of money. No, you're right. For the love of money, man. For the love of money, you gotta watch your back. You gotta watch your back. You gotta watch your back for your family. It's terrible, man. It said the root of evil is money. You know what I'm saying? That is the white man's power. What is power? Power means God, man. That is the oppressor's power. Right. That's what he relies on. How do we know that he relies on that? Because his face is on the dollar. You understand? All those oppressors, those white men, their faces is on the dollar. They look at themselves as God. That's how we know, again, here in the Israelite school UBK, man, it don't have nothing to do. It's not something, I know it can seem like a lot. It can seem like overwhelming, but when you at that low state like Adam, oh, you're going to hear what the Lord trying to tell you. You're going to hear what the Lord trying to tell you. If you're really going through something, man, you can't tell nobody in this school that the Lord did not deal with them or save their life before they came into the school. You know, it's at a certain point in life you got to hit before you step in these doors or you understand the knowledge of this truth. It's a certain part in your life where you know that you don't have the fucking answers. And the Lord is understanding and hearing what's going on. It said the Lord was chosen, you were chosen from the womb. The Lord knows. The Lord made a decree of who he's going to deal with, who's chosen and who's not. You know, don't be so into yourself this lifetime that you think you don't need no help. You don't think you can get some help from the Most High. You think you got it figured out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the Lord is trying to tell you something. Maybe the Lord is trying to give you a up. Maybe the Lord want to set you up on high. Maybe the Lord is choosing you. The thing is, are we going to hearken? Or are we just going to just say, you know what, I'll figure it out by myself? You know what I'm saying? A lot of spirituality talk. Listen to Car. A lot of spirituality. Like, you know, I hear it in Philadelphia, man. We got this whole spiritual nonsense going on. Everybody believing in all kinds of stuff, right? Everybody believing in something. Everybody think they spiritual here in Philadelphia, man. Like, you ain't go through nothing spiritual until you realize that you don't know a damn thing. A damn thing. Spiritual people be like, hey man, look, this is why this is happening, and this is why this is happening. No, nigga, you are struggling because you get high all damn day. You understand? It ain't got nothing to do with the white man at this point. It's you. It's you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You prioritizing that weed, you prioritizing whores. You know what I'm saying? Sisters, you prioritizing being a whore. You're prioritizing, your looks over your intelligence. You're prioritizing, the internet over instead of trying to make yourself a better person. You understand? Just distracted, It's the truth. Accept it. You know what I'm saying? You can only accept the truth when you can't disagree with it. What? You can only accept the truth. Hey, listen, I would rather have somebody around me and tell me about myself versus than people around me who say they love me and don't tell me shit. Tell me when I'm doing wrong. You understand? The truth don't care about your feelings. These precepts in these Bibles, I'm gonna get right with you. These precepts in these Bibles and these stories in these Bibles, man, and these laws that the Lord wants us to follow, they don't care. The Most High don't care if we feel like doing them. He's telling us this is what you better do. It's another funny thing to Car, right? And I'm gonna get right with you. it's wild that, you know, people will do whatever the hell their job tell them to do. If you could do whatever your job tell you to do, you can't serve the Lord. But that right there lets you know that you're selfish. Look, you think you can make it here 2 hours early? Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, you think you can stay longer? Oh, yeah. Hey, can you take this trash out? Even though I know I just, I'm just trying to see how much I can, rule over you. Let me see if I can tell you to do what I want you to do, because you can't work and do what the hell you want to do. So you want to do what you got to do to feed your family. I get it. But if you can do that for a job, don't look at serving the Most High like a job. Look at it like this is something way greater than a job. We work for the man that orchestrated this whole earth, put this whole earth together, the land, the seas, you understand, these mysteries of this earth. This man right here is choosing you and giving you something to do. This is what you got to do. I'm giving you the rabbit hole. I'm showing you what to do. Now it's up to you. What you had to say in the car?
Yeah, you just signed out about being real with you, being truthful with you. Like, remember Samuel was telling King Saul, like, you got a pocket, man. You ain't listening to the Most High. You can use bigger than the program.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Lord is going to destroy you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna lose your seat, and the Lord is going to raise up somebody over you.
Mm-hmm.
And Samuel could have been like any other politician. Samuel could have been like any pastor. You know what I mean? Shucking and jiving just to save his life and be able to get the spoils with Samuel bringing. And he could have did that, but because Samuel walked with the Most High, and was sincere about his job as a priest.
Yeah.
He was honest with him. And here, with you get in the world, like in the world, I noticed that a lot of people don't like my delivery. Honestly, I tell them I don't really care.
To you and us, you and everybody else there, right?
I don't care.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what I'm saying is the solution. I quickly bring it up. About parenting. Y'all want to live your best life. You get what you get at what you've seen and everybody's seen in Chicago, because y'all want to, all right, you don't want the good dude, right? You want that street nigga. Okay, but you and that street nigga made a baby. Now, guess what? You and that street nigga that made a baby that is not going to have any morals, not going to have no real understanding, because you didn't set that child up to have a good father.
Right.
That father is trash.
Mm-hmm.
He's a POS.
Mm-hmm. And
then you're a POS too.
Mm-hmm.
So now 2 POS is making a baby. The baby got now going to the world confused, thinking that it's okay to beat the living crap out of a pregnant woman and her 2 kids.
Yeah, that was sad, man. Hey, could you bring that video up, Bubba Kashaw? We're gonna close out with that video too. But go ahead. Continue what you were saying. No, you just show it through the. We ain't gonna put no audio behind it. But go ahead. You finished what you had to say?
Yeah, it's just when you look at something like that, the adults do need it. The priests do need to tell you the truth. Since you being a whore, you're never gonna find love. Brother, you want to keep laying down with whores, don't be upset when you on child support. When you look up your daughter blowing more rides, than a college band. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you want to set yourself up for failure if you don't keep these commandments of God. I'm only doing what the Most High said. Mm-hmm. He always ordered the priest, man, go tell them the truth. Mm-hmm. Because I wouldn't be a leader. We wouldn't be priests and leaders and just men if we don't tell you what you're wrong with. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody mad at Donald Trump for what he's doing up in the office. And they looking at the politicians, why are you not telling him about himself? God said only God can judge. Only God can judge, yeah, right? You can't tell me nothing. Sound like you're judging me. Shut up. You don't shut up. First of all, to be able to judge somebody means you have to penalize them.
I'm not penalizing you. I'm just giving you word of wisdom. What you're doing is going to lead you to an early grave. And if you don't change your life, if you don't, then you dug your own ditch. You understand? To even say, yeah, okay. But you think we judge it. You won't be ready. You wouldn't accept what you are. You know what I'm saying? And you would just like again, there's nobody. Every Black, Latino, Native American has a chance. You know, I'm very, I'm very like, I'm very like standpoint on telling everybody has a chance. Every Black, Latino, Native American have a chance.
Social media, threatening to harm the children behind the attack. Several
These
police officers showed up, blocking the entrance of the school to protect kids inside. Shanice Davis lives in the neighborhood and says she recognizes the attackers.
This is not the first time the kids have done this. You know, just talk around the streets that these kids have pretty much been raising themselves and they have not been held accountable. They have vandalized cars. They have.
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence.
Every day, you know what I'm saying? Every day.
Dragging the mother and her son to the ground, continuously beating them.
These children don't have to live with this for the rest of their lives. And the children are our future, so it's not fair.
Police say it started when the 33-year-old mother, her young son, and daughter were walking near 106 and Bensley in the South Deering neighborhood. A group of kids then started chasing after them, calling them names and taunting them. Both the mother and son were beaten so badly they were taken to a hospital. Word of the attack spread quickly on social media, causing outrage among many parents. One day after the attack, demonstrators showed up at Orville T. Bright Elementary School after some posted on social media threatening to harm the children behind the attack. Several police officers showed up, blocking the entrance of the school to protect kids inside. Shanice Davis lives in the neighborhood and says she recognizes the attackers.
This is not the first time the kids have done this. You know, just talk around the streets that these kids have pretty much been raising themselves and they have not been held accountable. They have vandalized cars. They have harassed adults and children.
To know and to find out even now that other families are affected by this. We've seen families out here that their children been bullied and been beat on.
Chicago Police District Council member Joseph Williams was inside talking with the principal, the mother, and CPS administration.
Accountability is going to be key because if this been going on, we need to make sure that principal be held accountable for her actions as well. This should have been documented. Parents should have been called to the.
We gotta get told with the truth. You know what I'm saying? And understand.
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence.
It's not
Dragging the mother and her son to the ground, continuously beating them.
These children don't have to live with this for the rest of their lives. And the children are our future, so it's not fair.
Police say it started when the 33-year-old mother, her young son, and daughter were walking near 106 and Bensley in the South Deering neighborhood. A group of kids then started chasing after them, calling them names and taunting them. Both the mother and son were beaten so badly they were taken to a hospital. Word of the attack spread quickly on social media, causing outrage among many parents. One day after the attack, demonstrators showed up at Orville T. Bright Elementary School after some posted on social media threatening to harm the children behind the attack. Several police officers showed up, blocking the entrance of the school to protect kids inside. Shanice Davis lives in the neighborhood and says she recognizes the
children will be our oppressors at this point.
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence.
That the kid, your child, will injure another woman who's bearing a child.
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence.
Raise these damn children the right way.
Dragging the mother and her son to the ground, continuously beating them.
To raise their child. You understand? You give that person a chance.
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence.
We're gonna close out with this video.
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence.
If you feel some kind of way about it,
dragging the mother and her son to the ground, continuously beating them.
These children don't have to live with this for the rest of their lives. And the children are our future, so it's not fair.
Police say it started when the 33-year-old mother, her young son, and daughter were walking near 106 and Bensley. It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence. dragging the mother and her son to the ground, continuously beating them.
These children don't have to live with this for the rest of their lives. And the children are our future. So
It's hard to watch. Children circled a mother, then pinned her against a fence. Dragging the mother and her son to the ground, continuously beating them.
these children don't have to live with this for the rest of their lives. And the children are our future, so it's not fair.
Police say it started when the 33-year-old mother, her young son, and daughter were walking near 106 and Bensley in the South Deering neighborhood. A group of kids then started chasing after them, calling them names and taunting them. Both the mother and son were beaten so badly they were taken to a hospital. Word of the attack spread quickly on social media, causing outrage among many parents. One day after the attack, demonstrations